Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll find a seat, we'll move this great event forward. Those of you who were tardy, unlike church, get to sit in the back, but you get the sunshine. I'm John Granville. I'm the executive director of the Metro Parks, and welcome to Rentschler Forest Metro Park. Signs haven't changed yet, but yes, it is now officially Rentschler Forest Metro Park. Our staff has been working extremely difficult under extreme heat conditions and storm, which I think they cleaned up pretty fast for this event, and I'm happy to say it's a beautiful day to dedicate a bike path, open it up officially. This project has been a long time coming, and we'll hear more about that, I'm sure, as the other speakers give their presentations today. I'd like to acknowledge one of the people of the three-person board that I work for, Cinnamon Troken, Park Commissioner. Cinnamon, are you out? Oh, here you are. Thanks for coming, Cinnamon. And I've already acknowledged the fact that it seems that every time we have a summer dedication, the heat index goes up into the hundreds, and the Metro Park staff always comes through anyway. So Metro Park staff members who put together all of this, by the way, there was not a single plant bed out here just about 2 weeks ago, Tony? 2.5 weeks ago. So we had always wanted to do something, and the bike path was an excellent opportunity to celebrate this end of this part of this project. Metro Park staff, will you put your hands up so people can tell where you are? Thank you. We're really here today to talk about connections. In fact, the early parts of this trail were known as the Great Connection. Today, we'll celebrate connections of the Great Miami River Recreation Trail bike path. We're reconnecting here with history. The Miami and Erie Canal provides much of the route for this segment of the path, and it continues up north, and we have made some progress in utilizing for unimproved trails up further in Rentschler Forest. I hope you have a chance to come out there. We're also celebrating a transportation connection, a reconnecting with the fact that this park will now be connected with the city of Hamilton even better as the next segments come along. But most importantly to the Metro Parks, these improvements, the trail and other improvements that you will see here in the park in the next 6 months to a year, reconnect us with our citizen customer owners, the taxpayers who have made it possible for us to celebrate this rebirth of Rentschler Forest Metro Park. It's been here since the 1960s. But with the help of partners like the Community Foundation and the county departments that played a major role in this particular improvement, we're making progress that hasn't been made at this pace since the 1960s when this park was open. It may not seem like much, but we're back trying to provide basic facilities for the public throughout the county in our park system. Today, I celebrate, and it may seem like a small thing to many of us, but recently we opened the first modern restroom in this facility since the 1960s. You passed it on the way in. It's a renovation of an historic stone structure. I hope that it will enable people to stay here much longer than they have in the past, when perhaps the vault latrines didn't seem very inviting. That project was made possible by a block grant, help from the County Commission and the Department of Development, the County Department of Development also. We have other improvements that are scheduled to occur here before winter, you'll see a play structure in this park that will be 3 times the size of the facilities that we currently have. There'll be ongoing trail improvements, better signage, a trail bridge to get across some of the more scenic places in the park here. And across the county, we're working to improve basic park facilities, including playgrounds, parking lots, roadways, all those things that are essential for a quality park visit. But back to this particular event and the reason we're here today. This project will likely at least double the number of people who visit this park. It's a great ending, a great terminus for this segment of the trail, and we look forward to playing host to people that had forgotten that Rechler Forest was here ever since improvements to Route 4 and Bypass 4 cut Reigert Road off. We may be, to many people, the best kept secret in this part of the county. We hope that doesn't last, and we're pretty sure that the bike trail will in fact cause that to be a thing of the past. But let me move the project and the program forward by introducing Dave Berlew. Dave is a trustee emeritus of the Hamilton Community Foundation and the visionary behind this segment of the Great Miami River Recreation Trail. Dave?
Thank you, John. In one way, it seems like yesterday when the Hamilton Community Foundation announced the bike path extension as one of its 50th anniversary legacy gifts to the community. In other ways, it seems like an eternity to most of us. It was actually on April the 6th, 2001, when the foundation made the announcement at a press conference at the fitness center. As president of the foundation, I had the pleasure, along with members of our staff and board, of unveiling a very large map which illustrated the path north. We emphasized that when the path was complete, it would connect 16 different parks with an acreage of 900. It would offer a wide variety of wonderful scenic views and areas for the pleasure of bikers, hikers, and skaters. The original bike path was 3.6 miles. Fairfield added a very important 2 miles by adding 2 miles connecting Joyce Park with Waterworks Park. When the northern expansion is finished, the bike path will be 10 miles, a significant bikeway by any measure. For many years, there had been talk about a longer bike path. It was on a wish list for many, many people. There were dreams and hopes and meetings and meetings and meetings. And then the foundation stepped forward in 2001 and offered to help convert those dreams to a reality. Sometimes fulfilled dreams just take longer. In this case, 11 years. But I'm sure all of us and everyone in the community will agree it has been well worth the wait. And now I have the pleasure of introducing a good friend, Hans Landefeld, whom I first met when we were starting to talk about this project. For many years, Hans was a key part of the Miami Conservancy District, and he was a specialist on bikeways. Since he retired, he has served as a consultant to the foundation on this project. We were so fortunate to have his knowledge and his experience. Hans Landefeld.
Good morning. It is a beautiful day. The blue sky will make a great backdrop for photographs, and the hot weather will be forgotten about very soon. While Dave put in poignant terms the importance of this trail to the local community and the parks that it will connect, I wanted to give you a big picture of how this trail came to be and how the idea for the trail came to be. In the early 1970s, the Miami Conservancy District and Miami University, their planning program there, partnered with local communities up and down the river corridor to conduct a study. And the study's purpose was to figure out how to utilize the river better for recreation and what amenities it would take to open up the river corridor for people to bike, skate, and boat, and enjoy the great river that we had. And this movement came after the rivers had been cleaned up through the Clean Water Act, and there was a recognition that there needed to be some things done to reintroduce people to the river corridor. The study specifically identified a lack of boating access and facilities supporting boating, and in fact, the low dam in Hamilton was an idea that came out of this study, as well as the bikeway. In the bikeway, there was two studies done, one along the Great Miami south of Dayton and one north of Dayton, and they reached similar conclusions, although the corridor is a little more urbanized once you get south of Dayton. And that was increase access for hiking and bicycling and improve support facilities for boating. The first pieces of the Great Miami Trail to be built was in Troy in 1976. The first piece was built and opened, and it was very short, very modest, much shorter than we're opening this project for today. Then Dayton followed a couple years later with an 8-mile loop in downtown Dayton. But the concept was always for a bigger trail that would follow the river corridor from the city of Sydney to Fairfield. And while this Great Miami Trail is very significant, it's not the longest trail in Ohio. That accolade goes to the Ohio to Erie Trail, which goes from Cincinnati to Cleveland, and it's about 300 miles in length. But the Great Miami Trail is very significant. It will be the second longest trail in the state of Ohio when it's completed. It's planned to be 90 miles long from Sydney to Fairfield. It connects 5 counties: Shelby, Miami, Montgomery, Warren, and Butler County. And about 500,000 Ohioans live within the route of the trail. The current state of the trail, I mentioned it's going to be 90 miles long when it's done. Well, that brings up the obvious question, okay, how many miles are done now? Well, I'm happy to say that with the dedication of this trail this morning, over 70 miles of the Great Miami Trail are done. There's only one section remaining between the city of Franklin and the city of Piqua, and that will be done next year. So the gaps are quickly filling. This section is also significant in the fact that the longest gap of uncompleted trail is in Butler County, about 10 miles. And with the opening of this trail this morning, that shrinks that gap to just about 8 miles. And that gap is between this park and Middletown. It's also on the radar screen of the Hamilton County Parks to run a trail from Whitewater Park down to the Ohio River, and it wouldn't be much of a connection to make from Fairfield to Whitewater Park in Hamilton County. So there's a potential that eventually this trail, not in my lifetime likely, will extend to the Ohio River. It's my pleasure now to introduce Mr. Mike Dingledine. Mike is the Vice President of SHP Leading Design, and he's the board chair of the Hamilton Community Foundation. Mike?
Good afternoon, and thank you. This is a great day to be a board member. I think I'm representing probably 4 or 5 different boards since the day this project was announced 11 years ago, and maybe 4 or 5 chairs. And Dave, I think, was the chair at our 50th anniversary, and I've been the chair through our 60th anniversary. We've heard a lot of C words today: connections, convergence, cooperation. And the one that strikes me as the most important is the cooperation. You take a project this vast and this many property owners and this many political subdivisions and this many communities, and it takes tremendous willing to say yes and work together to make that happen. There's a lot of people been involved in this project, from the board and its staff and the foundation. The state of Ohio, ODNR, worked with us. Butler County Commissioners worked with it, the City of Hamilton, Fairfield Township, Butler County Engineer Greg Wilkins and his staff, of course Butler County Metro Parks, our contractor WG Stang, and our engineer Barge Wagner, Sumner, and Cannon. All these people really work together to make this project happen, and I have to really single out John Gaduli, our CEO and president. This took 10 years, not because we were waiting around. This took 10 years because every time we made a step forward, there might be a step back. There are a lot of challenges, a lot of details. You say the devil's in the details, but to make these kind of things happen. And I think a lot of people would have said, you know, this is too hard, let's give up or let's try something else. John stuck with it. He took every new challenge in stride, and he made this project happen really by a lot of his effort, and I want to give him a special round of thank you today. We're also pleased to have our State Senator Bill Coley here, and I think he has a proclamation he wants to read, so I'm going to invite him up right now.
Thank you all very much. Mike, actually the county engineer wanted this trail created so that you didn't go riding and Judge Crehan didn't go up and passing cars on the road. It would look really bad if you guys were moving faster than the vehicle traffic. So, you know, we just can't have that, so we'll get you over here and then nobody can see how fast you can move through here. No, on behalf of Senate President Tom Niehaus and the Ohio Senate, we wanted to congratulate the Metro Parks and the Hamilton Community Foundation on a job well done on putting this together, a culmination of a lot of work, and we want to congratulate you and thank you very much for your contributions to the community.
Thank you very much. Before we get to the actual ribbon cutting, I would like to all invite you to join me and a few of us who are dressed as such to borrow Mr. Reigert's bikes here. In Motion Bicycle Shop is our new greatest small business in Hamilton, and Chad is our greatest advocate of biking and health and wellness in Hamilton. In fact, I think he's one of our next best community advocates, like Mr. Blue has been his whole lifetime. So I want to thank Chad for bringing those, and I want to challenge all of us to take advantage of his resources and become more healthy and become more connected in our community. So at this time, let's all take a walk over to the ribbon cutting, and I think Mr. Blue is going to actually do the actual official cutting. All right, we ready? Yeah. Everybody got their pictures? Okay, here we go.
3, 2, 1.
Gotta hold them straight.
There she is. Hey.
Hi, this one's nice.
I'm feeling a little elementary.
I thought you just lost 8-5. Yeah, the concept of free